Hey guys, and welcome to the video. Here today we are going to cover some information regarding Team xecuter's sxos 3.0 leak that occurred, as well as a couple of security keys to the Mariko Nintendo Switches, and that is a pretty big deal. Of course, this information is brand new, so there's not a whole lot out there yet, but we will cover what we know and then do a little bit of speculation and maybe see what might come out of all this. Don't forget to hit that like button though, because when you do, it just shows your support to the whole channel. Most importantly, it keeps me motivated to keep bringing you content on the channel, especially a story like this one that I am going to keep up with, because again, this is, I think, a pretty big deal with lots of possibilities. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so if you come over to xecuter Twitter, you'll see the encryption keys. Now I'm going to block them out because this could warrant a copyright strike for sure. And of course, we have over 12,000 subscribers and I do not want that to happen. But the Mariko boot encryption key has been posted and the Mariko key encryption key has also been posted. Now what this does is that it allows developers to now gain access to the Mariko's Trustzone, which in itself opens up a huge world of possibility. All right, and before we get too excited about this, or you start going into forums and reading some of the misinformation, of course, that's already going up there and starting to get posted, this does not mean that we are going to have an exploit for these Mariko switches that don't require a mod chip. I mean, who knows, maybe one day that could happen, but more than likely it won't. What we will still need is some type of hardware like a mod chip, but what we don't need is anything from Team xecuter. So you can have the mod chip and you can have it boot up into xecuter or Atmosphere or whatever it is you want, and nothing from Team xecuter has to be in the mod chip to make it function, to make it work. Now, in theory, that opens up another door, which means that someone can clone these mod chips. Since you don't need anything from Team xecuter, they can just make the mod chip. You can use something that's available out there that's open source to boot the mod chip and boot into whatever it is you want, whether it's Atmosphere, whether it's xecuter, whatever, but it would not require absolutely anything from Team xecuter. So that could very well happen here, where one factory will clone it, maybe another and whatnot, and the price will just go down dramatically. You don't have to worry about buying a license because you're going to be using open source stuff in order to make it work. Now, it is possible also that these developers can figure out a different method that uses something, maybe little Arduino type board, something that can be flashed, that might require even less soldering than these mod chips. The thing is that this opens up a lot of possibilities, whereas before this leak happened, the only choice you had with these switches is having to spend 50 to 60 bucks at least for the mod chips coming directly from Team xecuter, and that was your only option. Hopefully in the not too distant future, we will have more than just that available. And before we move on to our last thing and wrap everything up, I just wanted to point you to this post by HexKeys. This is a script that is used to decompress sxos 3.0. What's interesting is what he noted here at the bottom, where he said that this is the exact same technique used to achieve code execution on the original units. Glitch the PKC hash check. So on the unpatched switches, as you know, normally go into RCM mode, and then once you're in RCM mode, you just inject your payload. Now here, instead of using a PC or a dongle and a jig, the mod chip is the one that takes care of that. But the technique is the same. So this is beneficial to the developers because it helps save them time. They don't have to discover how code execution works on these Mariko switches, being that it's the same thing. It's just handled by the mod chip. So that'll save them time, and then they can focus their efforts on something else since the technique is the same. And we will wrap things up with this here that was posted on Twitter by the same developer, Hexkeys, and this has to do with the booting up of the mod chips. He states the initial stages focus mostly on DRM and clear out all key slots except key slot number 6 that were filled by the boot ROM as a way to block any other third party from obtaining Mariko keys using the mod chip. And this is my favorite part. This is, however, ineffective. Okay, so what this means is that Team Xecuter did this here to prevent other people from obtaining these Mariko keys. Obviously, they don't want anyone else to have this because they want to sell these mod chips. And if other developers get their hands on these Mariko keys, then it's definitely going to affect their profits. And they don't want that. They don't want there to be other ways for you to get into these systems, because then it will affect their mod chip sales, obviously. And we know Team Xecuter has had these keys for at least since October of 2019, because at the end of October, maybe right at the beginning of November around there, they made the statement that they had a way to hack all switches and it was going to be available soon to the public. And then in December, they put up that video with sxos running on a Switch Lite. So imagine if they shared these keys, how far along we would be. Now, I know they made the mod chips, but as of right now, here we are 8 months or more than 8 months later, and only the testers have the mod chips. The public still doesn't have them. What they have are pre-orders, and that is not the same thing as a mod chip. But either way, and regardless of however it is that you feel about Team Xecuter, the keys are out there, and hopefully in the future it will just give us more options. And that is going to wrap it up for today. If you guys are excited about this as I am, just let me know. This has a lot of possibilities, as I mentioned before. It's bad news for Nintendo, bad news for Team Xecuter, but if you're an end user and like hacking, modding your system, and are a fan of the Switch, this is definitely great news. You know, I appreciate you watching, and if you found anything here informative, helpful, useful, or just plain entertaining, or you want to throw some appreciation or love to the channel, make sure you hit that like button. It also will show me that you want me to keep you updated to not just this story, but also other things that are similar to this, and tutorials and everything else on the channel. Much love going out to everyone out there. It is a crazy world out there, guys. Be absolutely careful. Make sure you take care of each other. Be safe, but have fun, and we will see you on the next one.